actually, when talking about that, Dodgeman, I will go get another coffee. Just right about now, since I don't have anything else to drink here. And even though my father has a whole bunch of bottles here, he said I could not open anything more. Hello.
Hey, Phoenix, can you hear me? Just testing out my silly microphone. Hey, Phoenix, can you hear me? Just testing out my silly microphone. Hey, Phoenix, can you hear me? Just testing out my silly microphone. And that would be some ridiculous feedback. Yeah, sorry, it was a black screen because I was alt-tabbed or in another window for a second. Thanks for adding me to your list. I am building a little house in Sanctuary. While I have you here, you want to see something fancy? This is not in video. I have a little imager album of this thing. But, my little hospital for my ridiculously ambitious sanctuary build. Hospital alone uses the probably entire budget for the settlement. I'm mildly proud of this little two-way mirror, or one-way mirror. Two-way mirror? I don't know what the hell that is. Usually, what's his face? Pouty McPouty Pants. The man's the clinic. Jin, I think. This little admin area. With my... Oh, I'm actually getting something like 30 frame rates. Some supplies. And Angry McScally Pants usually mans the exam room. Though it's nighttime, so they are pouting elsewhere. Surgery, which is oddly clean and not full of blood, although I'm probably gonna have to figure out how to remedy that. No, 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 no! Open the door, thank you. Oh, forgot I did that. Have to fix these damn buttons. I used to have them consoled out to over here, so I could actually not have to do this thing. Right. Yeah, I think there was a Reddit contest. I don't even remember which one. I might have. I think this one like got the best theme, or I might not have won anything for it. I have no idea. I built this thing originally out of just warehouse tiles, and then a couple of the mods updated, which the key one for this build was the structural components, and that was, what do you call it, Snappy House Kit? Yeah. And then I went batshit insane, making this kind of ridiculously realistic and somewhat functional. And I went with the like blue sanctuary tile set to make it look like maybe they cannibalized all the buildings and did something fancy. This is where the need to add some more signage to the walls, but if you drop a ridiculous amount of caps, you get the fancy treatment with the Napoleon dude on the wall. Little nurse's station made out of, what do you call it? Roof trim. I was kind of proud of that. What am I doing? I don't need to call the elevator, it's right here. I'm not as drunk as I would like to be for excusing that. And third floor is the lab. tile set, where they make all the chems they shoot you up with before they cut you up. Some herbs that they use to make them. Not entirely finished room where they grow said herbs, because, you know, ferns, super medicinal. And there's actually 2 people who work in this lab, one at the microscopy thing, and another at the bigger microscopy thing. And one of them has clean suits, and they all have actually institute suits. And it looks fairly like a modern hospital. Blood. There used to be a fridge for all the blood. There should be a fridge for all the blood. That's probably gross, disgusting blood right now. A spot for a break and some beers. And I figured, you know, this is the Commonwealth, so you can't have, you know, a nice, sane-looking place without something nefarious going on. So, of course, the doctors are up to no good. One of them, anyway. Doing all sorts of experiments, one of which is somewhat inappropriate. This is sort of a last-minute addition to the thing, just to fill out, you know, whatever might be in the roof. And it's actually fitting that there's a storm going on. This is supposed to be a thing that attracts lightning. Never strikes here, though. And I don't think there's actually much to see over here. You know, blood, body parts. An errant skull. I'm assuming that this dude is trying to make a cyborg super mutant with a 3rd leg and eventually attach a Deathclaw head to it. That would be awesome. I need to finish that. Anyway, that's my hospital. I'm kind of proud of it, actually. I don't really care if it didn't win the little contest.
Can't pick this.
Son of a bitch. I need to put a, what do you call it? A barcode thing on the outside, apparently, because that door closed to lock me out. Not super bright.
The open road and a loaded weapon. Doesn't get much better than this.
Anyway, that's my hospital. And this house, I'm actually loosely basing off of... I don't expect you to stay here. You can go hang out with Uno if you need to. This is something I just started off on the whim as a somewhat realistic recreation of the house I currently inhabit. This is probably like the... wait for it to freeze for a minute while I load my 50 mods and go into settlement building mode. This is probably the 3rd or 4th time I think I've built my own house, and I did it once with shack parts, once with warehouse parts, once that DLC came out. I know, once with concrete and then warehouse afterwards. This is the first time I'm using actually, what do you call it? Sanctuary tiles. I should probably turn that back on. Yeah, that's helpful. Oh, this is the save where I made my ridiculously detailed Red Rocket Atom Cats build. I don't know if you've seen that. That's also another gallery not yet made into a video. If you stick around, I might wander over there. Crap, I just looked at the clock. I'm gonna have to depart soon actually, so I won't keep you over long. Kitchen sink. Ah, produces water. Hell yeah, I'm gonna use that one. Oh, yeah, I actually have his up in a tab on my second monitor. Is he just... yeah. Actually I have to run in a couple minutes, so... I don't want to build a kitchen, it's boring. Just some lights I threw up to... Wait, for some reason my games are mostly nighttime. I don't know if I did something to mess up the clock in the game. But I get like 18 hours a night and a couple hours of daylight, and it drives me insane. I just haven't gotten around to downloading a mod to just make it clear and daylight all the time. Hey Loco, welcome. Oh crap, there's 5 people. Yeah, this is my game lagging because there's a lot of things in this settlement. This is an old save that I'm trying to repurpose, and so this building right here was my base operations for a while. This is then I built before I installed any mods. This is just all DLC, and then there's some mod stuff in it. I'll give you a quick run through before I leave. It was intended to be, you can kind of tell by the outside structure, all the glass, it was intended to be like a used car dealership or something like that, and it just turned into a, here's where we make Frankensteins and do lab work. So it turned into a tech building. Get out of the way. Freight door, research, all of my shit. This is before I had place everywhere, and so I was manually decorating everything, and every so often an earthquake happens, and now I'm very upset, and I have to redo all of this and utilize some OC decorator. Oh, yeah, sorry, I didn't see your message. Loco, my hospital. There's a, if you look at my profile, there's a link to Imager. There's a gallery of this. You can find it on Reddit. Don't mind my little baseball field. This is where they play baseball. There's a Reddit contest for a building of a hospital. So I'm gonna give you a really quick tour. This is where Jin, what's his angry pouty face, mans the drug counter, pharmacy. Lots of drugs. Waiting room. Admin room, the two-way mirror. New patients come through here, get decontaminated. Try not to steal any crap. Exam room, manned by usually Patty McWhat's-her-face, Miss Long. Operating room. I got to call this damn elevator again. So upstairs is, oh, I don't even, I guess I think I showed you the nursery, but go back through it again. Nursery, urgent care. It's kind of the recovery ward. And this is where if you pay more caps, you get the fancier beds, because, you know, wasteland capitalism. Nursery. Oh, what are you doing here? You stealing babies? You're stealing babies. Little NICU I was kind of proud of. Used an institute room. Clips through the wall. And a little playpen for the kidders. Yeah, no worries. I would totally get ahead of myself and just show you everything I've built, because frankly live streaming is more exciting than me editing videos, and I have built so much shit in a couple of save games and have shown off almost none of it. I'm starting to try and remedy that, but this is the fancy suite for the, you know, high rollers, high donors. And if you're lazy, you can just talk to the auto doc and heal your wounds. I don't know why you just opened automatically. Bathroom. They have not given that any DLC. Davey might say, well, I'm super chuffed, but I'm super chuffed with this building. There's a lab where they make some drugs with, you know, some awesome things that you should definitely put in your body, and some plants that probably are better. This room needs a fridge for all the blood. That was the original intent. I don't know why that's not there anymore. But the lab where they do some, you know, blood testing and whatnot. Growing some herbs for drugs requires a key. I can I haven't put the key card on the outside, so it's going to lock me out in a second. This is the roof. I do credit Davey with some of my... he gave me a lot of building tips like 6 months ago or so. Sorry, this is where Frankensteins are made. This guy has an inappropriate third leg. I have yet to attach more robotic and or animal body parts to him yet, but this is kind of a last-minute addition to the top where one of the doctors in this hospital is doing not-so-savory things. Which is why he needs these cams to alert him in case of intruders. Yeah, Davey gave me some good tips, and I love his earlier stuff, and it was helping me when I was just starting out. Ow. I did that because I can't actually go back in that door. I locked myself out because I'm a dum-dum. Oh, it's 9 o'clock. I have about 10 minutes. Maybe 5. Yeah, I'm super happy about that building. So I built
I'll be honest with
that.
you.
Would you shut up,
feel
buddy?
more
I don't care,
comfortable
McGurdy.
locking the ceiling up like
The hospital was kind of out of place, and I realized like it kind of fits with a couple other buildings that I've built in this sanctuary over time. But I have this mod that fixes up the roads a little bit, and yes, I'm not gonna disagree with that comment. I listen to all his videos on mute these days because he's just way too chuffed for me. I like him. I'd like to have a pint. I'd like to have 4 pints with him because then he would maybe slow the fuck down with his talking. Anyway, so the hospital, I'm getting ahead of myself just like he does. The hospital kind of was ridiculously nice and fancy for everything else I had going on, so I've actually demolished a couple of buildings. That building over there, I think I was going to add like a 2nd or 3rd story, and so I just consoled the roof way up there. Let's see, I have way too many ongoing projects all at once. I have spreadsheets and shit for all of the stuff I'm keeping track of with buildings. But anyway, used car dealership turned into a sciencey building. You can see the stuff on the roof. And at some point I'm going to tear this whole thing down and redo it from scratch and make it super awesome, because most of this is built pre-mods and just with DLC. And if you're a super nerd, you will get that reference. In which case we can totally be friends. This is something I built around the same time. Kind of proud of this, and the sign is meant to be a little better. I think some things fell off of it. This is the Armory. This guy needs to go to bed. So, lots of guns on the walls. This is supposed to be closed, because thieves, but yeah, power armor and weapons. This guy. And workshops, and meant to show off some things. You might need a cannon for something, I don't know. I haven't really finished the upstairs yet. There's a little bed, cubbyhole, and this is kind of just the practical area where I dumped all my different sets of armor and stuff. I haven't really done anything up here. Yeah, this is definitely a labor of love. This is one of my later buildings that I did, I think with Homemaker, which is a pain in the ass. Holy shit, I cannot even explain. Snappy House Kit can do the same sort of build, but my idea for this build was, what do you need in the wasteland that has no trees or barely any plant life is a seed vault. So this is going to be like a bank that was then repurposed into a vault that the first floor of which, you know, your average vault. I haven't done anything with this yet. I was going to make this into my little, like, all of my Soul Survivor storage and just couldn't be bothered. Floor number 2. I was even going to hide that elevator behind like a false wall, I think. But this would be where I maybe grow some things, and this door is clipping through the floor. Where all of the seeds might be stored. There's nothing in here, obviously. But at some point I'm going to do something with this idea of a seed vault, and it will be, you know, like the last hope of the Commonwealth with some pre-war resources. You can see stuff is clipping through this, and it's a miracle that homemaker was able to do that much. I started just barring up the windows and stuff like that. I had a similar experience with making this little diner. This is, again, prior to installing most of the mods that I have. It was mostly DLC. So I kind of use this this whole sanctuary settlement as like a staging ground of building different types of things in shut up, McCready, in completely different style sets. So warehousey thing, completely modernish pre-war bank, even more almost like postmodern car dealer turned tech company. I don't know. This guy was gonna be something. It was gonna be like a public market with lots of vendor stalls and level 4 merchants. So I'm showing off my shamefully, completely, woefully unfinished sanctuary. Before I go, I'll leave you a taste of something a little more finished. And you're gonna have to bear with the load times because this is gonna suck in a second. Yeah, there it comes. It's gonna... you can see the second rocket. Yeah, Voltec definitely should have preserved some seeds instead of insane people. Various levels of insanity. This is something I'm super proud of. This is a red rocket built in the style of the Atom Cat's red rocket, and it's got a little too many red rocket signs, but these are ripped out of the console on PC. These signs that are like quick filler upper things. So, oh, somebody sleeps there. The Atom Cats have managed to restore a couple of cars. I went with the, like, what do you call it, little car elevators for them to store cars in all around the perimeter. I'm super chuffed about all those. Some RVs and things like that. These are, all the RVs and things like that are totally unfinished, but there's one back behind this way that'll be a bobblehead. Throwback to the original Atom Cat's garage. And this is where Sturgis, this is actually his settlement. Usually works on a motorcycle. There's trying to jack up this little hot rod Corvega. One of these, there's a couple of RVs. This is unfinished entirely, but going to turn into a little salon because they have to manage their pompadour wig somewhere. Turn a couple of buses into scrappy little bedrooms. There's one back up there too. This is actually, you'll recognize this Davy entrance. Okay, I got like 1 more minute. Garage. Look on power armor. General store. Little diner. This I am super proud of. This is a car wash. How do you get those old wrecks so clean? You wash them. Oh, yeah. This guy is not liking the water. Got some sparks shooting out. Some air drying vents. Again, this is all just pedantic snappy house kit stuff. Dog Meat's house. They power the whole settlement. Down there is just like scrapyard. Crap. This is building number 2 that I'm super proud of. This is, if you don't recognize it, the red parts of these buildings are, that's snappy house kit stuff, and the white is container parts from, what do you call it? I forget what mod it is. It's the one where you get to build individual containers. This is Sturgis' second garage. Looks like an old firehouse to me. Oh, there he's sleeping. You got the roof, where you can chill out. And floor number 2. That's the most graceful way I could build a ramp up to the second floor, which I did my best to make it look like, including with those little accents, those white accents that are again from boxcars just scaled up, to make it look like a second floor that belongs on the first floor of the Red Rocket. And at some point I'm going to move the workout gear out to the other part of the roof. Right now it's just for no reason, chemical place, chem lab. Sniper perch.
Man,
Can't remember the last time I had clean.
Yeah, cats should definitely all be moved here. Wow, that's the roof from the house that I just kicked up from the sanctuary. That's hilarious. So, rocket number 2. Figured why not add a second one. There's a little perch for drinking and radioing. And a institute flag for no reason. I'm trying to remember the mod that lets you build the boxcar parts. I'll just go into Settlement Builder and try and figure it out. Oh, G2M Workshop. G2M. That one gives you coastal stuff, piers, and boxcars. And the white, sorry, not boxcars, shipping containers. The white shipping containers, accents from those, plus bricks. That was my magic formula for Red Rocket stuff. So, yeah, you can even see it. G2M, that's right. The last piece of this build that is very noteworthy is these guys. I'm actually super chuffed with these little turret stands. They're basically just a pole, some spikes, and a tire at the bottom, and a little mini turret wired up in there. I'm going to put a couple of those around. One over here. And one over here. And that is the first time this guy's been seen on video. I'd have in mind to use the cave down here as a settlement. Maybe like, oh, I did that actually. Put a little door to the basement settlements, and I gotta put it and obstruct the actual cave. I was potentially gonna have a little bomb shelter down there, but I almost don't think that's worthwhile, considering all of what the Atom Cats seem to have going on already in this settlement. And holy shit, that was way too much time. I'm way late for whatever dinner plans I had. Anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. I will be at it again before long. Have a good night. Cheers!